it's the blue team that's forced to ban it.
Yeah, and then Lissandra, I mean, we've seen 0-0 play it many times back on the Lemon Dogs in that summer split. Very good on those champions. He's really good on pretty much everything in that top lane, I have to say. But Nukeduck hasn't been focused too much, which is kind of weird to me. I mean, we heard in the interviews earlier from Xpeka that Nukeduck's pretty much on the exact same level as Bjergsen, and yet people aren't as afraid of him.
Maybe exactly why, because if somebody's so versatile and so good on that many champions, why waste the ban and why not target the people with a little more niche champion pools? Shyvana ban coming out, Elise banning coming out, maybe like the OP bans, as we say, like very strong champions, both played on both teams, everybody's been playing them. And then the Renekton to close it out, target ban on Youngbuck.
Yeah, and Jax was picked up here, first pick for NIP, and once again Lee Sin featuring in this. Of course, last time around was for Amazing. This time around will be going on to Hercubot, who plays that Nunu in the last game.
You can definitely feel Hercubot saying like, hey guys, I want a little more pressure in this game. Sure, sieging is all cool and I can bubble you, but why don't you let me do the work? He's a really mechanically gifted player as well. Plays a mean Lee Sin, and it just might be enough for NIP to get more engages and options in this game.
Yeah, that's one thing that really kind of... one thing I noticed when Hercubot was in SK is that he never got to play champions he really enjoyed. I mean, I remember Joe and I were casting him back when he was on a different team. His Lee Sin amazed us so many times. He was pretty much on level with Diamond Proxilus, and seeing him play something he enjoys, as we see Gambit, you know, enjoying themselves, laughing, having fun, it's a scary thing even if Hercubot is in that mindset, or all of it. Oh no, don't do that.
But why not?
Don't do that side.
He may have learned his lesson with not buying the Mage Eyes this time, but yeah, it'll be a little tricky to beat a Singed and a Gragas with the Scion, but then again, it is Nukeduck, and whenever you cut him out, it just throws a curveball and beats you. I've played against him in solo queue in the odd moment that I am playing mid lane, and it's really hard to read. Whenever he does something crazy, talk to Froggen as well, he always says like, yeah, anybody can do something crazy, but Nukeduck, yeah, it'll be intentional. It is really crazy, but he knows exactly what he's doing, so definitely a player to be feared sometimes.
Well, changed away from that Sion and went for Annie and Ezreal. So obviously feeling that they are going to be more important to them. Pretty much all the AD carries open, of course. Lucian was taken away, and that's exactly what NIP have gone for this time around, wanting that extra mobility. For the Wolves, we're going to see a Vi coming into action. Unlimited going to pick up the fiddle.
Nukeduck's played Ezreal middle before, back in the summer split, if I remember correctly.
Yes, he has. Actually, the game I had in my head where he was doing crazy stuff was on Ezreal, so who knows. Although Ezreal into Lucian, both of them will probably end up going Triforce. It's okay. Ezreal Annie is pretty potent, level 6. I mean, you don't even have to, even if you get creep block, you just send double AoE ultimates. If the enemy lane by one chance overlaps, and that's where Annie is the strongest, flash Tibbers, Ezreal to going through, pick off whoever you want. Very potent combo. We see, look at the lineup already. NIP, Jax, Lee Sin, Annie, Ezreal. It screams pressure, and it might just be enough to beat Copenhagen Wolves.
Yeah, I'm looking into this late game fact where you have Annie who can initiate, you have Jax who can initiate with that counter strike, pop down the AoE stun. And I'm really curious to see what they're going to round it out with, because they have a decent disengage, at least on the other side for Copenhagen Wolves, with that Gragas.
I just hope they don't fall into the trap that SK put themselves in twice in their games, which was the triple melee, no wave clear, jungle, top, and mid. And it might actually be that one with Riven right now. I'm really happy that I'm predicting something correctly. Although this is NIP, and who knows, they might actually dance around the weaknesses and play out the triple melee bruiser comp as it is supposed to be played with a Miffy on Annie on top of it, because we know Miffy likes to go aggressive, and which better team can support you in going aggressive than Riven, Jax, and Lee Sin.
So some interesting picks here, and well, they gotta be interesting, I think, at this stage of things. 1-0 NIP behind, putting all their eggs into this basket. All their bags.
All their bags in this basket as well.
All the bags in the baskets with the eggs for this one. But yeah, Riven in the mid lane for Nukeduck. I'll be honest, Nukeduck not had the most amazing time throughout this tournament. We saw the AP Sion didn't work out really at all for them. Let's see how this Riven goes for him now. I mean, if I look down his games, and I mentioned that when we had the Sion, that if you look at his games that he's been playing online, Sion, Syndra, who's unfortunately banned and not able to be played here in this tournament, and Riven are the three that really crop up in that.
Yeah, and go ahead.
Oh yeah, I mean, we were mentioning earlier that Cowtard has gone up against Riven when he played against SK yesterday. He was obviously Zyra in that one. He knows how to play against a Riven, and yet they picked a Riven into it.
Yeah. At the same time, I find it really hard to judge the lineup from the Wolves. Singed coming in always makes the games a little harder to judge. It's how is he gonna play? Because there's multiple ways to play Singed. Ghost only, no teleport, for example. There's a few players that like messing with the bot lane by having an early Singed teleport, so he doesn't opt for that. Ignite indicating, yeah, he wants to go for some duels. Sinj into Jax, who beats that? I believe Jax does well early. Sinj might just get tanky enough later to flip him away and just start dirty proxy farming again. We'll see how this game evolves. I think both teams have what it takes to win this game, contesting in lineups. There's obviously gaps in each lineup that they can exploit. Let's see who's like the better organized team today and who plays better with the lineup.
So here we go then, into game. Copenhagen Wolves 1-0 up here against Ninjas in Pyjamas. And good luck, have fun's being exchanged. And we're going to see exactly how this one all folds out, whether Ninjas in Pyjamas can get one back or whether Copenhagen Wolves will take the $17,000 for first place.
Let's start comparing these level 1s as well, Jason. Like at one point we have the Jax and the Annie coming out, followed by Riven. Very potent one, level 1 on the side of the NIP, but Copenhagen Wolves has something to offer as well.
Yeah, we saw some pings coming in already where I'm assuming they want to put some wards down or something like that to really kind of control something. But Mithy, with those 4 green wards, doesn't have to pink yet again. I'm assuming they're not going to try to go for a 2v1 mid when you have a Riven and a Gragas matchup. And I'm looking at NIP's lineup as it gets later in the game, and to me it feels like if they get on top of Copenhagen Wolves, they're going to win a fight.
Yeah, it's definitely tricky to judge. Yeah, you definitely don't want to put 2v1 mid against Gragas. It doesn't work out. Singed, I think, will do well against Jax, so well enough. Annie Ezreal against Lucian Fiddlesticks. I don't know, it's really hard to judge. I think they can end up 2v2. It doesn't really matter like who wants to do what. I think we'll probably see traditional lanes, especially for the blue team. They're not going to switch away from Drake presence if they don't have to.
So it looks like we have this mini-map bug again. I'm not exactly sure what that actually is, but
it's still on their screen, at least.
It's on their screen, yeah. It seems like it's Forgiven that's got that problem. Actually, he's going to just reconnect to the game here, so he should be back here pretty quickly. After that reconnect, and we'll be able to get things back underway. We did see, just before we went off the screen there, Mithy and Hercubot actually sat in the Dragon Pit right now, maybe setting up something of an ambush.
Yeah, often supports just once they see like 1 or 2 people on the map, they generally get the okay to start moving out and warding aggressively, because you never assume like who the hell is gonna hide 3 people in a Dragon Cove. Well, actually some people do that, so you still have to watch out for that. But the wards are actually already in place, and I don't think we'll be seeing any action.
And I believe Mithy even has his stun or his W leveled up here to have a stun at level 1. He's actually going for something different here though. He's going for an exhaust this time. Yeah,
exhaust coming out. Not sure exactly who he's going to try and exhaust there, because, okay, Singe coming in maybe to slow him down. Is it going to be enough? Gragas generally throws all his barrels before he comes to exhaust range. Forgiven can actually negate part of the exhaust, because not many people know that, but Lucian's dash ability removes any slows on him. That's exactly why he's so good against the likes of Thresh. But yeah, maybe he was not aiming for a 2v2 and doesn't want the Ignite to burst down the Fiddlesticks.
And Freeze is the one to pick up the Ignite. Sorry, I just noticed that. He's not going for Barrier this time, so he went for the Ignite. So it looks like, to me, he wants to be very aggressive here in the early phase.
Good point. I actually completely missed that. I'm so used to AD carries playing. So this actually explains exactly why they go exhaust on Miffy and Ignite on Freeze. Actually, I like to see it turn around, because I think an AD carry late game with exhaust is better than Ignite. But yeah, very aggressive bot lane all of a sudden from NIP, and they're going in.
No ward going to go in there either. Mithy thrown straight into him. He is down. That is first blood Copenhagen Wolves. And the ward went down once they'd already face checked it. For me, that's totally the opposite way of how you're supposed to do that.
Yeah, 3-man invade is so risky unless you have a complete read on the enemy team. Riven's still in the mid, didn't even come with them. Yeah, sure, and he has an AoE stun, but what's an AoE stun when you're already flipped on the other side of the map by Singed?
Well, we saw nothing. That's the problem. Exactly. We do have some swaps of the lanes here, though. It's going to be Coutard going up against Zoro Zero on this top side, which will actually leave a 2v1 in the mid lane, and then a Singe down in the bottom in a 2v1.
Yeah, I actually like that. I'm not sure if Coutard is going to be able to do a lot against the Jax. He definitely knows the Riven matchup well enough to dodge it, and then they put 2 mid. As I said before, 2 mid allows you to go into any buff you want, and that's exactly what we see Copenhagen Wolves doing. Exactly, again, exploiting the weaknesses and having a really good level 1.
Yeah, and because Hercubot actually was in that invade right there that went really sour, he just got his blue buff, and that means that Copenhagen Wolves can take away his red and probably get their own blue in the same token. But Hercubot gonna go for invade here, gonna take at least the big wraith away, and already a 3-man push happening on this turret.
I'm really a big fan of what Copenhagen Wolves is doing. They're punishing the lack of lane push in Nuketo's champion pool right now. Both Fizz and Riven don't have too much push early, and they get punished. And meanwhile, Young Bucks throwing some poison around.
Amazing actually catching Hercubot there, doing that Wraith camp, and Hercubot's going to have to try and work his way around the side. They know that he's on this side of the jungle somewhere. Hercubot feeling confident about it, and he's actually going to be taking away the golems. And the fact is that Vi's going late to this blue buff as well, so they're not going to have an even rough estimate on that time.
Yeah, weird enough though, the enemy jungle is the safest place for Hercubot to be in because he's backed up by his dual lane being bottom. He knew the invade was coming from Fiddlesticks in his red jungle, so I have to respect his decision making there. Yeah, sure, he got behind, but that's what great junglers do. It's easy to play your normal standard route and then play it out, but adapting is what makes jungle so good, and that's why Diamond Proc was so good, let's say, a year ago, because he basically invented counter jungling in a whole new way of adapting.
Well, right off the bat, we're seeing Copenhagen Wolves with that AD carry support lane middle, getting this turret down to below half-life, sitting on about a third here, as Hercubot, luckily for him, going to be able to soak up some experience from this. But if you look on the minimap, amazing, he's towards the top side. He realized Hercubot was there. He wants to go for a little bit of counter jungling here at the same side. And right now, Copenhagen Wolves, I mean, I'm trying to think, will they want to go for this turret here, then, you know, kind of rotate the lanes, or do they want to keep punishing Nukeduck?
Like, looking more into their play, I can't but admire Copenhagen Wolves. Like, look, bottom Kautar's doing, but he's not really going to lose too much. Gragas has insane wave clear, right? Singe on the bottom does well 2v1. It's really hard to push that in. You can already see that. Not a way chipped away at the tower. Meanwhile, they put the rest of the members mid to push that tower. Complete tower control from Copenhagen Wolves.
So good. A little bit dangerous there from Unlimited, who did the fear underneath the turret. Actually took a couple of hits, and Lee Sin's Q just kind of went flashing by. That was a "oh no, I'm dead" moment, I think.
Yeah, he could have been punished. He could have definitely been punished there, but like the conceptual play, at least so far, barring that mistake, is definitely really, really solid. And Copenhagen Wolves, impressive.
Impressive. Kind of taking off where they left off in that last game, to be honest with you, where they looked incredibly strong as well. Meanwhile, down in the bottom lane, NIP are pushing. We can see that Hercubot has snuck up into this top side, so they may try and get a kill back from this one. Kautar still has his flash available, but they are going to jump in.
They're going to go straight forward with that counter-strike. Kautar getting very low. He flashes and belly slams away, but the Ignite coming in. The flash on a Hercubot picks up the kill. NIP getting back in it. Hercubot doing a great job and a great sneak in through that lane.
Perfect. Not much more you can say. That was exactly the thing NIP needed. Gragas has good wave clear unless he's in the middle of the wave, and then he gets cleared himself. And then really, really good gank, and it's actually transitioned into tower pressure on the top from NIP. And meanwhile, it gives Annie and Ezreal the liberty to push down bottom as well.
Youngbuck here is not doing bad of things whatsoever down there. We can actually see that he has 13 CS to the 44 though of the Jacks, and that could become a bit of a problem for him as we move forward.
Yeah, and NIP Freeze is backing off right there because he pretty much expected Vi to come. Otherwise, that could have been quite lethal. Vi Singe combo, if you get caught by that, you're probably going to end up dead.
And look what's happening in mid lane. They're actually going for a push onto that middle turret already, getting some damage onto it. And Nukeduck, at 6.5 minutes in, being kept at 24 CS, while the rest of Copenhagen Wolves, with that pressure they applied there, are going to be going for a dragon. So another early dragon coming out of them.
Is somehow Hercubot and Zoras there were still in the top lane. Roughly in vision, Gragas wasn't getting caught again. They take the dragon. Even though NIP had full vision on it, they couldn't do anything. And look at the wards Copenhagen Wolves is pushing out. There's none of them in the river. They're all really far ahead in the enemy jungle almost. They can pretty much see who's rotating between the lanes, and pretty much forced Miffy already to pink his own blue buff because he was expecting the invade to come from Copenhagen Wolves.
Youngbuck had that time in this bottom lane now, but as Miffy comes in there, the exhaust going down, Youngbuck gonna have to pop his ultimate and the ghost to try and get away from this one. Freeze coming in, the ignite's not gonna be enough to kill him. The flash in there, and Miffy actually tanks up the turret, and here comes Amazing. And well, it was amazing. Absolutely brilliant timing.
Well timed. Let's say like Youngbuck a little lucky or not, but then again, he can only do what he can do, and a bad reaction by NIP chasing the loss. You know, once you start getting behind every game, you really want that kill so much that you'll start doing stuff that you otherwise wouldn't do if you weren't like afraid that you were going to lose the game otherwise, and that's basically giving Copenhagen Wolves even more control of this game. And
I really wonder if they flashed in a little bit earlier before Singe got a little bit more of his regen from his ultimate, could they have potentially picked that one up?
Potentially, but I even expected a flash auto and then a Q coming out of Freeze being enough to take down a Singe, but I really didn't expect him to survive, so maybe Miffy felt the same and then panicked afterwards. It's definitely understandable.
Certainly not what they were looking for either way. And we can see that the gold already above 2,000. We're 8 minutes into this game. We've already seen the Dragon as well. Hercubot is coming in, but amazing. Spotting them coming around. He has the ability to get stunned up here. We see the Mithy actually moving back, and there is Assault and Battery. The ultimate coming out of Forgiven, not going to be enough to get the kill, but he will move in there to pick off the kill onto Annie. Now it's Unlimited that's taking a lot of damage, but Young Bucks here fling on towards Nukeduck, but he flung him on towards the top of Unlimited. Nukeduck does get away, but Unlimited probably swearing right now.
That could have been really close. I know the feel when your team sells you for a kill, and it's really not pleasant.
I'm singed. I'm helping right there. But Zoro going to be getting the vision on this blue buff here with that ward coming down. He's still getting quite a bit of CS, but look at Kautar dead even with him so far and doing a great job of, I guess, hindering Zoro a little bit here, not letting it free reign over a lane.
Oh, that top side, as you said, Zoro. He's going to have the help of Hercubot if he needs it here, but actually, I saw Kautar just backing away, getting himself some wards down, and we'll drop into that blue buff and get himself that, as Amazing helps him start off. No one really close to hinder that process and stop it being picked up by the Wolves.
And this is where Copenhagen Wolves actually scale a little better in terms of item builds. Already Sidestone finished on Fiddlesticks. Actually engage on mid. And is he gonna work? Not too much actually.
That red buff though.
Yeah, red buff, some poke. I mean, I just want to leave the opportunity to start shouting about these amazing Riven plays, but they're not quite coming out. But as I was saying, Mithy currently forced to buy just wards. Only has wards compared to Unlimited. Always has a Sidestone. He's gonna be pushing out cheaper wards every time. And if that keeps happening, if the pressure keeps going on NIP, we'll see Mithy stuck in a Tabe scenario at Worlds where he finishes the game with only boots and wards.
Top side, Zoro just trying to pressure Kautar, but actually Kautar throwing the ulti at him there. He's going to belly slam him as well. Zoro popping his ultimate, but that's not really going to get him anything. As we see the barrels coming out there, Kautar just has a bit of a drink. He's got that blue buff, so can afford to be spamming out. Meanwhile, 3-man push again on mid, and again it results in a tower going down.
And this is something you touched on, Crepo, in last game, is that we saw Copenhagen Wolves send their AD carry support middle to stop that push onto the turret. But in the meantime here, NIP, instead, they keep them bot lane, they keep Singed there, but they lose their middle inner turret at 10.5 minutes in.
Yeah, definitely. Annie going mid alongside Riven could have been enough to actually give free some levels and try and out-poke the Singe, because Singe is simply getting too strong. They have a hard time pushing him in. They didn't dive him early. They might choose to dive him now, as we see Hiraki grouping out in bottom. And actually Riven maybe rotating alongside him even. Actually forces him out of lane there, and they trade the towers.
I think that's fine for the Wolves at this point, up 3-1 now in towers, and they're going to keep pushing that top lane through. In fact, Unlimited is coming up there. They're going to have 3 men to bash away on this one. Zoro is at full HP, but that can be changed very, very quickly with Gragas' ultimate coming off cooldown in a sec.
Yeah, vibrating in the wings. They know actually that the NIP just pushed down bottom turret and base, so they're respecting the amount of people that could come potentially out of the base, and they're backing off, waiting until all those 5 dots show on the map again, and if you count 5, then you can start pushing again.
Not to mention how hard it is to dive at Jax with that Counter-Strike ability, but they should be able to do it with 3 people. Young Buck, like you're saying before, getting very farmed right now. 60 CS to the 54 of his counter opponent. I don't know exactly how you want to call it, but he is beating the mid laner currently. Hasn't built up any items just yet, but he's surviving his lane. He's being a nuisance, and that's, I guess, a really key point about him.
If NIP wants to fight back, they need to take down a top turret before Dragon spawns. Dragon spawns in roughly 45 seconds. It's going to be really hard, but if they can do that somehow, they could get back the advantage. Otherwise, they just have to wait and let the wave be real long on top lane and don't farm it, but they have to contest this Dragon. Even more gold in the hands of Wolves might be too much.
Well, Hercubot is on that bottom side. Mithy does have a ping ward as well to be putting down on the Dragon itself. We can see there's a lot of wards in the enemy jungle here put down by the Copenhagen Wolves, so they're going to spot all that activity moving in. And in the end, Mithy didn't put the ping down, so that means they've got literally no vision of that Dragon area.
And look at that Ruby Sidestone against just a Ruby Crystal. You can see the advantage in gold already on Unlimited, and it's even more efficient gold being spent every time, and it's just going to scale better and better and better until Mithy can finally catch up.
It seems like, if anything, NIP keeping Copenhagen Wolves on their side of the map is at least making those wards not too useful, but Amazing going to be coming in for freeze here.
Not quite got the range. Not quite got the range to lock him down from that one, and didn't really have the rest of his team there to push through either. Dragon, though, has now spawned in, and we can see that Amazing already going to be moving in onto that one. He's got Forgiven coming in with him. Lee Sin and Jax are both on the top side, and actually they've sent Coutard up there on Gragas to try and stop this turret going down.
Yeah, no Ezreal ulti up anymore. They can't straight duel, so they give up the Drake to kind of get the top tower, but it was already on 20%, and I can't but think that Copenhagen Wolves is really happy with this.
Oh, Young Buck, he's looking for something here. He sees Freeze, he sees Mithy. They have enough people down there to probably go for this kill, but wisely, NIP can be backing away.
It doesn't matter that they know, actually, because just the sheer amount of pressure forces them off a turret and another turret coming in for Copenhagen Wolves.
Such great play from them. Positional advantage the whole way along, and Youngbuck just throwing his poison down, almost a wall of them against that, as we do see Forgiven here. Could be in a little bit of trouble, gets stunned up by the Counter-Strike, will flash behind the turret. The culling comes out from it, and that will be enough to hold them off, at least for now. Actually, they decide not to push it onto that middle turret for this point. Amazing is going to solo off that bottom turret, as Youngbuck was just farming there up between the inner and outer turrets, and they'd already rotated around to stop a 3-man push onto mid.
Yeah, exactly. Let's look at what this game is all about. It's about objectives. Objectives are either Baron, Drake, and towers, and NIP really has a lot of trouble pushing these towers down. They can't siege at all, so they'll have to split push, but it doesn't seem like they can get any damage down, because Gragas is holding at one side, Singe is holding at the other, and meanwhile, just Wolves, they siege way better. They're just in control of this game.
And not to mention, we do see an Oracle picked up for Unlimited right now, so 14.5 minutes. I know you always said back in Summer Split, 20-minute mark, you want to hit that Oracle, but he's investing it very early, and this is only going to make Mithy's job, it's changed, and this is only going to make Mithy's job that much harder when he finally just getting the regular Sightstone in.
Yeah, it used to be a 16-minute timing, but if you already have that many towers down, what you want is oracles and wards. It's just too efficient to buy anything else. Why would you need more HP? Because you're not going to get caught anyways, because you'll see them coming. And if you rob their wards, you don't even need any ability power, because you'll just 2-man them once they start moving into you, and you'll just kill them. Vision control wins you games.
And they have that right now. Certainly going to get even more out there in the near future, with Unlimited now running that Oracle and looking for more pickups as he goes. In fact, the Wolves here are starting to gather as a 4-man team around the enemy jungle, so they're going to maybe try and strangle them out completely. Obviously, mid lane has no inner turret left, not the safest of places to be once NIP lose that vision control, which is slowly but surely going down. Unlimited just getting himself another one, and now Zoro Zero up in this top lane is going to have to back away from this tower or get help very, very quickly.
Well, I think we'll see a 5v5 fight here for NIP, because otherwise they're just going to lose control of the game. They don't want to lose this tower, and actually with 5 they're pretty strong.
And they're trying to get that turret already very low, down to below half health here, and I can't help but to think about the fact that Amazing can ulti 1% NIP, they can be flipped out, they can be barreled away even further, and then feared. It's like if you grab one person, they're gonna die from this whole CC chain that's going on.
Same time, Tibbers kick, Zac stun, Riven decimates you. Same story for NIP.
Let's see what happens here. As the turret falling ever so lower, and you see NIP, they're a little bit hesitant to engage, but Nukeduck, he's on the south side. He wants to come in from the back, but a great job by Youngbuck is just zoning him away.
Yeah, Singe definitely needs to be at that side, and Gragas needs to be in the middle poking. Really good position by Copenhagen Wolves. They're playing their hand correctly.
And if one of them jumps in, you can bet that Unlimited's ready to fear you straight off from that one. The silence so strong in this position as well. You can silence the entire team with the bounce of it. And we see them finally pushing through. This turret is going to start to be attacked. But there is a flash in from Mithy. He gets knocked back with the Gragas barrel, and Coutard is going to get that one. Amazing. Assault and battery onto Hercubot. This tower's hitting him the whole time. Coutard going far too deep from this one. Is he going to fall? Yes, he is. It's Freezer gets that one. And that is a 3-for-1, and it's not done just yet. Nukeduck trying to get around the side of them, and he's Forgiven that's actually the low one in that one. Youngbuck's actually going to have to be the man to really control them from that, and I think that is the chase over, but nonetheless a great fight coming out of NIP.
And this is where I just want to shout Alfonso. Miffy doing so well, engaging with Flash Tippers. If you don't want to know what caused that, it was Copenhagen Wolves getting greasy. They wanted to get the last bit of that tower. Greedy, not greasy. I don't know what they're doing in their spare time anyways. But they wanted to get the last bit of that tower because their bottom wave was pushing on their tower. Basically, they were going to lose advantage and they were getting greedy, and they got punished for it. NIP had this small of a window and they took it. AoE stun from Tibbers, flank from Riven, and that was all it took one slip up and he got punished. And this is not the Wolves we saw the first game. They should have played it slower. Why not back off? Why not defend that bottom wave? Why not come there later? 2 more minutes. You have the means to get the control. And it's just, you're getting baited into feeling too strong sometimes. And that's what every team needs to learn.
And Nukeduck, I have to give him credit right there. Oh, Kautar does stop the back on Zoro0. But Nukeduck, he actually came around the backside, flash stunned him, and just got right on top the entire time. He ate the fear out of Unlimited, and they were able to stomp that fight. And right now, Unlimited still has the Oracle available. We do have the Triforce done for Forgiven here, so he has that extra bit of damage, but he's met equally with Freeze on the other side.
Yeah, well, what NIP has or lacks rather, in siege potential, they have in fight potential, and that's the opposite for Copenhagen Wolves. They can control situations so much that they can avoid fights, but once they end up in one, it better be their own choice, because if NIP is choosing fights, they might be in for like a beating.
As we saw previously in that one. We do have that Blade of the Ruin King done for Jax as well. Zoro0 now sat at 0-0-3 after that last bit of action. We also see that Youngbuck picking up that Haunting Guy's got his Giant's Belt in there as well. 15 seconds for Dragon are actually moving into position already.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to control this one again. I mean, Jax is going top, he's going to push. I imagine he can take Dragon down in time. Before NIP can put any push down. So really good objective control again from the Wolves, and they'll just have to slowly transition this eventually into a push if they dare again, or maybe even just Baron control. And I think that might be the key for this game later.
Well, this will be the 3rd Dragon of the game for themselves when they do pick it up, and NIP haven't been able to contest anything recently, but that last fight...
He's on down in the bottle, he's really overextended.
Oh, he is completely out of position here, and he's down. Nukeduck going now on into himself on a killing spree, and Freeze in a similar caught out position will be locked up and finished off. So that's a mid laner for the AD carry, with the Dragon going over to the Copenhagen Wolves and possibly an inner turret here. Certainly a bit of damage onto it.
I like this little mind game Copenhagen Wolves fell into, because NIP basically, they gave up the Dragon, Sunjack down top, generally indicates, hey, we're giving you the free roam of the area, we're backing up. But they were hiding in bushes that weren't warded, and they punished Gragas for overextending. Again, not enough respect from Copenhagen Wolves.
They still get the Dragon either way right there, but they do lose Gragas just like you said, and NIP, they've been able to get back in this game very, very slowly, but they're definitely doing it here. I mean, they're up in kills, they're down 2 turrets, and they're down 4,000 gold, which they can make up very, very quickly. As we see, Zoro0 going to steal that blue away. Youngbuck going to chase him down here, but that's the advantage of the Blade of the Ruin King. You can just slow them down, speed yourself up, and you should be able to escape this.
Yeah, he's not going to get too much damage. Maybe one flip, but then again, Riven is coming in. And they might actually try to turn this around, and then Gragas comes in, and then they'll run again.
And Youngbuck just spots Nukeduck coming in and is like, no, let's not fight that one. Freeze was pretty close as well. Just doing himself the red buff now with the help of Hercubot. So, a couple of players just backing off from this one. We see a BF sword added in for Forgiven on top of that Trinity Force that he picked up earlier on. He's also got around 1,000 gold to add on top of that one. We can see the Warden's Mail coming out for both Singed and Vi here as well.
And why the gold still stays roughly the same. Actually, it allows Miffy to scale back into the game. He actually has some gold from that earlier fight to afford his Sightstone and an Oracle's Elixir, and now he can counter battle the Vision game, albeit a lot slower than Limited is playing, but it's still something for NIP.
And you were talking about Baron a little bit earlier when we were talking about Dragon, and it looks like they potentially want to bait it out here. 21.5 minutes in, so relatively early Baron, but face checking.
They need more wards. They need to ward up the entire red jungle, and then basically NIP has to become in such a state of paranoia that they're afraid to face check every brush. And once they get afraid to do that, you can start doing Baron, because it'll take them 10 seconds to get into every brush. And even if you don't do Baron, well, eventually they'll start walking into you. The only counter to that from NIP is proper lane push, or just, yeah, risk assessment.
Risk assessment, and they're trying to get back into their own jungle as safely as they possibly can here and clear out, place their own wards while they go. Hercubot obviously able to reveal there. That's one thing that certainly works in their favor. Throw that Q out and check those bushes before, well, doing what they did at level 1 in this game, and just face checking them.
Brush check is really important when face checking these brushes. Ezreal can do it, and Hercubot can do it on Lee Sin as well. That's why this team of Copenhagen Wolves needs pink wards, spread out the team, or just a lot of pink wards on Unlimited, so they can make sure every brush is dewarded. They don't have to spend time moving their Oracle around in the jungle. They can just be sure and engage from Unlimited.
Wow, moving into this one, and he is just out of position. Locked. That's a lot of ultimates being used, but kill's a kill.
at this point you would type Worth in all chat.
And yeah, I mean, they had ward coverage down on Bear. They saw him coming in, a great play by Unlimited to realize that, to go for it with that flash and that ultimate. And right now, even Zorazar on that top side might get in trouble.
Yeah, and I'm kind of surprised that this is happening to him. I mean, he's able to leave strike himself away, but the rest of the team actually pushing in ever closer from this one. Kautard does have his ultimate available, but that's a good flash out from Zoro. Will actually send him even closer to safety with that, but it leaves us with a 5v4 since Hercubot's dead. That might be the end of this inner turret.
And this tower was already down on 20%. They're probably just going to take it and then move into the jungle and deal water. Riven's trying to flank though.
He's trying to come from the backside as well as Mythy, and he was instrumental in that last fight we saw at that turret with that flash. Tibbers, I mean, 4 members of Copenhagen Wolves here, but with that Oracle, he's just trying to do exactly what you said. Just trying to protect his own jungle, clear out these bushes, make sure they have as many wards as they possibly can. But one downside to that is that Copenhagen Wolves are starting to finish off some major items.
Yeah, NIP's trying to stay in this. The only annoying thing for Copenhagen Wolves is every time you win vision control, you get something out of it. But once you lose it, for every, say, 3 or 4 minutes, you get vision control. If you lose it once, if you only lose it by 30 seconds, it takes you another like 2 or 3 minutes to clear everything, get into position again. So if NIP can repeatedly every couple of minutes get a Warden and make sure they're not doing Baron, or at least make sure that Unlimited is spending so much time walking around, wasting time, they might actually get a chance to pick them off again.
1 minute and 15 for that next dragon to come into play. Objective that the Wolves have had solid control of throughout this entire game. And they're going to be pushing this mid wave straight up. Obviously no inner turret left on that lane. Only the bottom lane actually has a turret left outside of the base at this point of things. So definitely not the ideal position for Ninjas in Pyjamas to be in. And the Wolves going back to that game of clearing out the wards, getting their vision back around Baron to force a play out of NIP.
And exactly, and this time they're doing it with pink wards. You know, at least they guarantee that 2 ward spots, they don't even need to follow anymore. They guarantee that there's no vision. They can spread around these other spots and just make sure that face check is guaranteed and punished.
Like we were saying before, a lot of items coming in. We have the Death Cap finally built up here for Kautard, the Random Winds Omens as well. And right now, looking at Young Buck, he so tanky and he can just escape from you very easily. It's going to be really hard to deal with him, and I'm trying to think who the man will be on NIP's side, but and again, he's probably going to be the last man killed anyway in these in the middle of these fights.
Might see an engage here, a desperate engage from Zoro as they see Vice clearing down the bot wave.
Well, good because actually doing the Wolves at this point, so if they are going to do that, he probably wants to get himself a little closer. He is headed towards that bottom side to stop Amazing pushing too far. The Culling coming out there from Forgiven. That'll push that lane all the way back here. And with Dragon now live, the Copenhagen Wolves have positional advantage.
Yeah, exactly. They push down mid and then go to Dragon. Good rotation, not blindly going for the Drake, and hopefully predicting where NIP is coming from.
We could see an engage coming out of NIP here momentarily as Mythy was on the top side of them, but they're going to still lose on the Dragon either way. It looks like they're trying to go for a push on the middle, but doesn't matter. The Dragon's done. Copenhagen Wolves are start returning here, and it might be their opportunity to go for a fight if they want.
Yeah, but they're not on the same page. Look, Riven was like, okay guys, I'm in a position for a flank, and then Hercubot was somewhere in the middle. It was like, yeah, okay, if we're going in for the pincer, I'm ready. And then meanwhile, Freeze and Annie were in the middle, like, nah, let's not fight, let's just push mid. And this like not being organized and not being structured just ruins any potential of a counterplay. If we saw the Wolves for game 1, you're doing X, we'll go Y because we know it's the counter.
Blue buff going to be gifted over towards Gragas. We just saw the red going on to Freeze, who actually has both buffs circling him right now, and a quick shopping trip here because we see almost 500 gold on the support player. And that's another Oracle for Mythy.
I just want to point this out. Copenhagen Wolves have beaten SK already yesterday. They beat Muture Makers in the qualifiers 2-0, and now they're potentially on the verge of beating NIP. That means
that's the point that we made at the start of the game, right? Who in their right mind is going to pick Copenhagen Wolves after this tournament to play against them in promotion?
Even if Mim is in their right mind, they probably end up choosing them anyways because they have nobody else to choose.
Exactly.
It's very dangerous at that point.
At least right now, if Copenhagen Wolves is this strong, we probably could predict that actually it's going to beat them on top of the circuit, and then NYM better start preparing and watching these games because Copenhagen Wolves are looking strong. Although we have no idea how they play against teleports. And if Jari comes in with a few left and right, it might be a different story.
Or on the new patch.
Exactly. Or on a new patch. Really good point, because these games are only just an indicator of teamwork and coordination, because they don't translate well in terms of champion picks or even playstyles. I mean, vision control all went well, but the entire vision control metagame is going to change in 2 weeks.
And that's all still being worked out, so we can't even give a guess, I think, on how that one is going to be moving forward. Case of wait and see what develops. Right now in the middle, Freeze going pretty aggressive here, trying to get a bit of poke down on towards Coutard, but Copenhagen Wolves, they can just back away to the safety of their own tower, not really having any kind of worries with this one. If we look at the goal now, 42.5 to 35.5, still continuing to build. 5-2 in turrets. We're tied on kills. And 4 of those kills right now for the Wolves are with Amazing on Vi, but we're getting to that stage where they're getting enough gold coming in anyway that, you know, those kills are going to start to distribute.
Yeah, actually, I'm not the biggest fan of what Wolves is doing here. Hopefully they can actually get the tower they're pushing right now, but otherwise I would have liked to see an extra Oracle coming out of, or maybe Vi, and just go for the double Q and actually rotate that Baron, because now they're just trading turrets, and maybe even go for a sick base race.
As you see in the bottom lane, they are able to take that turret. In the meantime, the rest of NIP can be backing away to defend against this, and I'm worried. Copenhagen Wolves might be able to take this inhibitor turret before they can even get back.
Yeah, it's going to be close, that's for sure. No one got home guards at this point, and it's gone. Yeah, Barrel is down there to zone Nukeduck straight out of things. Talked about that a little bit earlier on. The Wolves take the turret, but there's Mithy flashing in. The Barrel will knock them all back. Nukeduck's gone right in the middle, and he gets shut down. And now the Wolves want to play ball. They go straight in there. Mithy has to back off. We saw Hercubot going very low. Unlimited just trying to zone them away from this inhib. Gonna be taken, the first one of the game here for the Wolves.
And meanwhile, on the top lane, both Singed and Jax are respectively tabbing back in and out of that lane to see who's winning that fight, and it was Copenhagen Wolves taking down the inhibitor, and this might be actually the little push they need to just get the Nashor.
Oh, Youngblood trying to run away here. He does get slow, but the ghost is popped. He's going to be able to escape this. And, you know, look at that last fight. If you were to compare the two people who weren't there, who benefits more, or what team benefits more from having that person there, it's got to be NIP. You need that Jax. You need the damage. You need the control. And the Singe, I mean, he's just going to run around and be a nuisance.
Yeah, you need the follow-up pretty much. Like, the only way NIP is going to win a fight is 100 to 0, see hero, kill her, Gambit style, and CC chain, and Jax is not there, and that's... Again, Youngbuck is really playing well. Even if he's not in those fights, he's probably even the deciding factor.
Yeah. Him not being in fights also means that Jax is not in the fights as well, which is probably the more important factor in all of that. We do have more items on their way, because Gragas has almost 3,000 gold to spend right now to add into that Fiend's Unholy Grail and the Rabadon's Death Cap. We've also seen the Glacial Shroud being picked up by Singe, so overall everything flowing the way of the Copenhagen Wolves, and again they're going to start that ward control war once again on the top side of the jungle of NIP.
I would still like to see more pink wards or an additional oracle to speed up that process. It's not really needed, but it's probably advised, because I think it's the best efficient gold spent for the Wolves here. But then again, it's their own playstyle. They can do whatever they want, but they're probably going to secure this Baron in the next 4 minutes.
Well, it looks like they're going to have a go at Youngbuck from this one, but honestly, is he the target to be throwing all your stuff at? Probably not, and we will see Hercubot go down. Youngbuck's only just hit half HP right now, as look at the damage onto Nukeduck. He goes down quickly.
Well, Youngbuck's going to continue chasing here on the Zora Zero as he does get the counter-strike off. Youngbuck, look at the damage he's doing, and look at the harass he's doing in the middle of this fight, keeping Freeze and Zora Zero out. In the meantime, Copenhagen Wolves, they're going to go for a push on the Nexus turrets.
Yeah, NIP took a bit too much to drink there and actually had to swallow a really rough pill. Youngbuck completely flipped that one around.
Yeah, I died just as much as NIP, I think, during that fight. Zoro Zero is going to be finished off here as well. He's trying to put down as much damage as he possibly can. Freeze trying to hold on to things as the culling comes out, and Forgiven flashes in there. Freeze gets to the back of the fountain, but to be honest, this game's over. The Copenhagen Wolves are going to smash down the Nexus turrets. The Nexus will follow, and they win the amateur tournament here at the Intel Extreme Masters Cologne. Pick up the $17,000. Look so incredibly good.
And I lied. They weren't going to secure that Nashor in the next 4 minutes.
Nope.
Game's over.
And if you look at it, in just the upcoming weeks, they win the tournament. They get this momentum coming into the group stages of the LCS promotion tournament. And then NIP, on the other hand of that, they're looking at this like, wow, we didn't really expect to lose. I mean, we've been practicing like crazy with these new members coming into the team. We want to really lock down our position in the LCS, and they get blown away 2-0 by Copenhagen Wolves.
And once you start doubting like the power of the European LCS, everyone's like, yeah, Bjergsen's leaving, and they're all switching around, and all these teams, they're not exactly what they used to be. And Copenhagen Wolves just steps up the plate and says, hey, well, we'll probably be playing with you guys next season, and just up the ante even more.
Well, if they play like that, then definitely, and I'm sure you guys that are in the LCS next year are thinking, oh, I've got Gotta watch out a little bit maybe for this one.
I'm grateful for the scouting already.
Yeah, that's it. That's a bonus of being here to commentate. You get to watch the games at the same time. But from Copenhagen Wolves side, the champions of the amateur tournament, and it's hard to call out one outstanding player on their team. Youngbuck has had an amazing tournament. Amazing's impact from the jungle has been incredible. Forgiven, the new AD carry to come in to replace Reckless, not skipped a beat.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really name one. I'm just gonna say that I'm personally surprised by Youngbuck because he's a player that often gets referred to like, man, well, he's okay. Two-trick pony, doesn't play that well, but throughout all these games in this entire tournament, he's been playing well. Well, he's level-headed. He doesn't really get too confident anymore. He's been around for quite a long while. Even when I started my pro gaming career like two years ago, he was at the same tournament in Anaheim playing right there. So he's been around the scene for so long. And I'm happy for the guy that he's finally actually gonna get the jump to go into the LCS and prove everybody that he can play the game at the highest level. Hopefully.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. There's still a few weeks and I made that change, but yeah, I mean, all respect for them, and Copenhagen Wolves just showed already that they're definitely a team and a top contender for that spot in the LCS.
And I think NIP can't be too unhappy. I mean, second place finish, you never want to lose, that's true. But coming in with a brand new roster, a big shift in players that they've had. They beat TCM, who are another on the amateur circuit, on the challenger circuit, an incredibly strong team that have been together for a long time. It's hard to fight against that stability when your team's only a few weeks old.
I think it's even a kick in the ass for them. They realize, you know, we can't take this amateur tournament, or not the amateur tournament, sorry, the promotion tournament lightly. Obviously, you shouldn't do that anyways, but to realize these teams that are coming into it are pretty damn good. We need to get going. We need to start preparing because, like you guys are saying, it's on the 3.14 patch. It's a completely different game.
Yeah, we just had Alex Mueller from SK Gaming as well talking about it. Yeah, winning is always good, but losing teaches you more. And if anything, NIP is only here to learn more about their weaknesses and their strengths, and hopefully they can take it on forward.
Okay, guys, we're gonna go.